Zargrim Painhammer's journey began in the shadowed forges of Dunsparren, a stark Duergar city hidden from the sun's reach. Here, loyalty to the rigid tenets of his clan dictated life, and innovation was the rare currency through which respect was earned. The forge became both sanctuary and battlefield for Zargrim, a place as hotly alive with potential as the molten metal within. His deft hand in crafting was matched only by his adeptness in the sharp dance of Duergar politics. It was his sharp insight and persuasive tongue that secured him status among the clan's artisans, but that same independence was a quiet source of discord among his superiors, who found his autonomy unsettling. Ascending through the ranks, Zargrim was assigned the forging of infernal alloys, imbued weapons meant for the clan's war priests. Yet, this task exposed a layer of the clan's leadership riddled with corruption, pacts forged in shadows, and an insatiable thirst for power that did not hesitate to sacrifice kin. Zargrim's discovery pushed him to challenge the elders, not with aggression, but with reason, thinking it might sow a seed of change. However, his dissent was manipulated into a narrative of betrayal, and he was cast as a renegade, sentenced to the horrors of the battlefield in a war waged on false premises. Amidst the bedlam, a botched banishment spell intended to obliterate him instead flung Zargrim into the desolate expanse of the Nine Hells. Stripped of camaraderie, isolated among infernal creatures, he survived through raw ingenuity and newfound magical prowess. Here, the line separating forging and wizardry blurred, birthing in Zargrim a fierce and unyielding magic that refused subjugation by the realm's malevolence. In these depths, fate intertwined his path with Baelric Stonebrand, a mountain dwarf he once considered an adversary. Initially joined by the necessity for survival, their partnership, one that saw hammers and spells wielded in unison against relentless fiends, began to soften ingrained perceptions. Stripped of old animosities, they encountered each other's strengths and convictions, qualities that dwarven history had failed to acknowledge amidst its tales of enmity. For Zargrim, these trials in hell became a crucible of transformation. He fashioned knowledge and brotherhood from mutual reliance and hard-won victories. Zargrim recognized in Baelric a kinship that transcended ancestral rivalries, an alliance forged not by lineage but by shared endurance and respect. By the time the two emerged from the infernal grasp, they bore not only the scars of survival, but an understanding of unity amidst diversity. Returning to Dunsparren, Zargrim carried dual heritages of Duergar cunning and newfound wisdom. As a Hellsmith, he was no longer merely an artisan, but a creator who embraced infernal insights, not for power alone, but for enlightened strength. His brotherhood with Baelric endowed him with broader purpose, ready to rebuild his clan from the inside, to strive against not just external threats, but the internal misconceptions that had nearly torn them apart. Zargrim's narrative had transformed, a forger now of both metal and mended bonds, a merchant of both goods and goodwill between old foes.